Hi everybody, my name is Jaime Herr. I'm a sophomore at CalU and I'm majoring in graphic design. However, I am overall an artist and I have been since I was able to hold a marker. My lifelong goal as an artist has been to test my capabilities and to explore my creativity. Today, I will be presenting my take on different mediums of art and the process of which I go about them. So to start, I would like to look at one of my first soft sculpture pieces that I did during my junior year of high school. Prior to this, I had never had any experience with any hand-sewed projects, so it took a bit for me to learn basic sewing techniques. Here is a doll that I constructed with a sturdy wire frame on the inside, wrapped with the cloth to give it its basic shape. After that, I took square pieces of felt and sewed them on one by one. This was a really simple thing for me to do. Just really easy process, just because the felt was really easy to work with. It was small, easy to sew on, and I didn't have to worry about the fabric bunching up in any places when I wrapped it around round pieces of the body. Doing this also allowed me to overlap layers of felt and to sew them right over other ones without any traces of the fabric underneath. That year, I also learned that the millimeters and the thickness of the felt made a really big difference in determining how sturdy your felt was going to be and overall how sturdy your project was going to be. So here I'd like to talk about an important stitching technique that I do with almost every single work that I do for soft sculpture. So usually when I'm doing a 3D piece, I'll sew two pieces of the same size together and I'll stuff it with either scraps or sewing bits. Any leftover scraps that I have really is a really great way to recycle instead of using stuffing. When I do this, I make a seam on the outside and I loop it around the edge. I would also like to note that a small hole must be left after stitching this to be able to flip it inside out. As you can see here, I left a little bit of a bigger hole though, so you guys just could see. This really helps it overall after you flip it on the inside. You can see here that this seam is clean. You don't have any stitches on the outside after you flip it inside out. I don't always use this technique though, because there are some times that I have to use super glue instead of stitching, just when I have a smaller thing that I would like to sew on and I can't actually sew. Sometimes this technique doesn't work. So when I make pieces, I sometimes use threading on the outside as a way of making an extra design. Here you can see that I left stitches on the outside of these strawberries. Although it was time consuming, the strawberries were very simple crescent shapes with the leafy top green, super glued on top. You could see that I applied the same technique here with the donut and the sprinkles instead of gluing individual bits of fabric on. For the succulent, I weave the needle in and out to make these swirly designs just to give it a little extra pizzazz. This technique also worked really well for my cactus and making it look textured the way I did. I strive for an ample amount of realism when I make flowers, just like I did here. I make these flowers and they sit just about in the palm of my hand. When I realized that there was no way for me to properly present them and stand them up, I knew I needed a solution. That's when I began to put magnets on the back of them. Here with this Gerber Daisy and Marigold, I put magnets down, closed it off, and then with another magnet, I put it on the other side with super glue, and that's how I make my flower magnets. And they work really great for anybody that enjoys magnets or flowers, just as a gift. I really enjoy doing that. Here on the right, you'll see that I made similar flowers, except I finished those off with wires and I wrapped embroidery floss around them to give it that green color. For the base, I put a piece of cardboard down, then I placed a square on a piece of felt, filled them with gravel, and then tied them off at the end. Having them weighted helps them to stand up properly, and it really makes them look nice. Here I'm showing individual pieces that I cut out to make animals, such as the elephant. I also use the same type of technique when doing the dinosaur here. I did the legs similarly, stomach similarly, and the two body pieces were two things that I did with the elephant and the dinosaur. This is when I began to talk about different mediums. The reason why working with different mediums is so important is because it promotes different thinking and a different thinking creative process for each medium, because each medium requires a different amount of energy. Especially now with everybody being stuck inside, I think it's important to keep our minds creative. These two examples are from what I did in high school. This is before I understood textbook terms, key concepts that actually make something look three-dimensional. It's kind of just more freehanding it without any prior knowledge. This is something that I have worked on this past semester. This is a still life charcoal drawing. As you can see, I documented different phases of my artwork, showing the progress that I have made. There was a lot that I learned through this, such as the uses of chiaroscuro and shading, which really helped the picture come to life. I wanted to draw my sculpture pieces, and I truly got a better understanding of my own work and the material that I work with. I just also wanted to briefly show some ceramic pieces that I did in high school. For this, I used a lot of research involving pictures just to get the individual parts that I needed, like the arms and the eyes. I did my own research for just looking at pictures of that. Here you could see that I've gotten into upcycling. I had made a pencil holder and I had made these little pouches here on the side. I've been using YouTube for my research to look up different techniques that other artists use, and that is something that I am currently studying and working on now. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you learned a little bit more about different mediums of art. Thank you.